Hey, this episode of the Jeep Talk Show is brought to you by Windshield Defense. You know, adventure doesn't wait for a cracked windshield. Windshield Defense by Racing Optics is like a screen protector for your phone. Triple layer, race tested, and installs in just 20 minutes. Save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. The clear choice. At Trails Off Road, we didn't just create an app, you're exploring our passion. Every trail guide and every feature is built in-house by the same enthusiasts who love to off-road as much as you do. No one has trail information like Trails Off-Road because no one else verifies every single trail with tires on the dirt. Find your perfect off-road adventure with the detailed trail guides filled with vehicle recommendations, obstacle photos, video advanced difficulty ratings, camping locations, and so much more. Just go to trailsoffroad.com right now, and when you subscribe, use JTS15 for a 15% discount. Help support the companies that help support the show you love, the Jeep Talk Show. Hi, boys and girls. It's time for another Jeep Talk Show interview. We're going to be talking with Phil. Phil has always had a passion for Jeeps and the off-road world. He started Max-Bilt Off-Road in his kitchen back in 2007. Did the wife say anything to you about the Jeeps being in the kitchen? And
many things were said.
I can well imagine. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were visiting when I had an Atlas 2-speed on the kitchen, that's the center thing in the kitchen. And it was brand new. So, it's fine for it to be in the kitchen. I was just messing with it and putting the shifter and stuff on it, just enjoying looking at it, And I had not told my wife how much I spent for that. And she didn't ask. My mother-in-law said, "How much was that?"
Oh, no.
So they all found out at the same time.
That's never good.
Oh, I loved, my wife didn't say anything about it, but, it's like, it's a lot of money. I mean, certainly the mother-in-law thought it was a lot of money, but they knew how I was about my Jeep. That actually went into a Cherokee I got tired of the chain stretching in the MP 242, I think it was. Yeah. I love that transfer case. It was so nice where you could drive around 4-wheel drive when it was raining and stuff out. But that damn chain after 80,000 miles, I think I put 3 chains in there one day. I said, the hell with it. I'm going no chain. So yeah, Atlas. At any rate, back to the intro, not my story. Phil knew he needed a product to be able to travel to the big off-road shows like EJS and Moab. So he developed Max-Bilt Trail Tail LED tail lights. Trail lights sound good too. From his passion came a passion for old Willys Jeeps and a desire to give them a second shot at life. Epic Willys Adventures was created a group of Jeep buddies and started a pilgrimage to Moab the first year, a transcontinental trip from Canada to Mexico. The next trip, and he had traversed the Oregon Trail and several other locations in the U.S. The rules: no phones, no GPS, no interstates. You were hiding from the wife. I know what you were doing. Coming off the run following Mitten of Michigan in June of 2025, EWA 7 is being planned for mid-2026. I do not know what EWA 7 is. Can you tell us what that is?
So that is our Epic Willys Adventure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Our 7th event. And yeah, we're in the planning stages right now. I can say that it'll be in Middle America. There'll be bourbon involved and some hills and mountains. Really looking forward to it, but we haven't got all the specifics kind of hammered out yet, but it's going to be a good one. Okay, so are roll bars for the Willys approved or not approved? How hardcore are you guys? So we're pretty hardcore, and the rules as far as like no modifications to the Jeeps are like, if you could prove that in the 40s or 50s something like this was built or done, we're all for it. We're just trying to get away from fuel injection and, like the major modifications that kind of happen. Part of the fun is having slightly unreliable vehicles and being put in predicaments to be able to have to figure it out. I mean, we don't do a ton of wheeling. It's not super technical, but you get the same kind of effect that you could have on a 12-hour trail in Moab that's really difficult, where now you're at, instead of a new rock section that you have to try to get all technical about, you're wondering, why don't I have spark? Are my valves misadjusted? Am I going to be, what do I have around me to put the wheel, but we had this is the Oregon Trail. It was me, so I can speak to it pretty openly. But I had a wheel fall off going down the road, and the lugs were all trashed.
Oh no.
And so I was like, well, what are we going to do? Well, I had a drill, I had a bolt kit. So I drilled through the hub and the drum. So on those, I mean, you're taking off basically the whole spindle assembly to be able to get the mounting surface. There was like 1 or 2 good lug nuts. We put those on, then we drilled.
That's all you need.
and then I think if there was 2, I would have let it rip. So there must have only been 1. And we ended up drilling 3 holes in it and putting nuts and bolts. Just bolted it right to the
Nice. I didn't think about assembly. That. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. And to be honest, that was one of those temporary fixes that I'll repair when I get back. Well, that was Oregon Trail. We've done the Concord Cup, the Moonshine Run, and the Mitten Race.
Oh, you're pressing your luck, man.
They look good.
There you go. Good work on the side of the road. So you mentioned unreliable. So I'm just kind of curious, did you consider Land Rovers at any point?
The Epic Land Rover adventure. Yeah, I mean, we've talked all kinds of different. We've talked about doing a weekend lawnmower event.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
But the Willys for us, in 2016 when we were in my shop here in Eau Claire and working late on Adam's Willys with a couple other buddies, myself, Mark Strangfeld, and Adam, and we're just kind of like, oh, we should take a trip. We should take a trip. And it felt like every night we were working on it, we were saying that. So finally I was like, all right, we're taking a trip. We're going to drive these things we're going to drive them to EJS next year. And I think I think that was like 3 months away. So we're like, okay, we called a few of our vendors that we use and kind of told them about it. And being in the industry, being a manufacturer, you kind of know that there's some brand partnerships and support that you can get from guys and say, hey, we got a harebrained idea. It could be great. It could be terrible. And
it's a win-win either way for those guys.
Yeah, exactly. Because like all press is good press.
That's right.
And so we decided that was what we were going to do. We mapped out a route leaving the shop, went down through Missouri, southern Kansas, Colorado, did like Wolf Creek Pass and stopped at like oddities along the way, saw the world's largest electric shovel, the world's largest hand dug well, goofy stuff like that. So really road trip theme, but I mean, we realized how crazy of a trip that it can be 75 miles in when Adam's engine blew up, and we're on the side of the highway going, was this a good idea? And
of course not. That's the adventure.
Exactly. So somebody bumped into us at a gas station that knew a Jeep guy. They made a phone call. Pretty soon we had a new engine. By the next morning, we had a new engine being brought down from someone out of Stillwater, Minnesota. Yeah. And somebody opened up their garage for us to be able to do an engine swap, and they were cooking food, big potluck. Jeep clubs came around. That was when I was like,
and it's a memory. It's a wonderful, it's rough at the time, but it's just this wonderful memory of people coming together and just making it happen. And it's really neat. Yeah.
And so we have stories like that, like I said, for all across the country. Every event is just, I mean, you could write a novel on each one. You could do a mini doc on each one. And it's nonstop. And it's wild how even like the littlest hiccup in the way that they're running makes your brain go from like everything's great to this is the end.
0 to 50 really, really quick. Yeah, I know what you mean. What's that noise? And then it's the vehicle next to you. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. But by the end of it, you're like, what's that noise? Who cares? Like, whatever,
yeah. It's gonna make it. Yeah. So do you guys? And I get the feeling the answer to this is no. Do you guys have any chase vehicles or parts vehicles or anything that follows along?
So for the first 3 events, we did not have any sort of chase vehicles at all. And then after our Oregon Trail route, the snowball kept growing bigger. we never really allowed is the wrong word, but we'll use it. Like outsiders to come into it because it was so ragtag.
Invited. It sounds better. Invited.
Yeah, we didn't invite much of the general public to, because it looked great on social media. But man, when you're in it, it's high stress. People, it's a real life reality TV show. And so I didn't want to subject people to that based on maybe what they felt they were seeing online. And I think it takes a special person to be able to know, like when shit hits the fan, it's just you and the crew around you.
It's all hands on deck. It's not, you can't be sleepy, hungry, weepy. You needed to, no bitchy. You need to get in there and help. Yeah, exactly.
And so,
and a lot of people don't do that because, including me, we're comfortable right here in the air conditioning. That outside stuff.
You did mention Cherokee. I mean, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So it was, but after the third event, the first one again was from Eau Claire to Moab. Very cool. Then the second one was Canada, Mexico along the Continental Divide. So it was all mountain towns.
It sounds gorgeous. It sounds like it was just
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
The wildlife, everything. And then, Kansas City to Oregon City on the Oregon Trail route. Also super epic, very, very historic. And that on that one, we had our first, we didn't have a follow vehicle, but we did have a lead vehicle to get us through Wyoming. We had Bob Liebenhagen from TNT Customs, who knows that land like the back of his hand, kind of escort us, kind of like an old, Native American guide. He was kind of our guide getting us through that, and which was fantastic. And then after that, we just kind of decided, well, let's make this a thing. So we opened it up to the public. We charge a fee. Basically, it's a vacation. We're going to put together a really involved. You get to just immerse yourself in the Willys culture and what we've been building over the years. And so we modified some things a bit. We made it more of a race or a rally, if you will. Mm-hmm. So each day there's little competitions and there's a way to collect points. We allow the riders to have cell phones now, not to communicate, but to be able to document. And so there's a little bit of the honor system there, and people are pretty good about it because they like the idea. They want to unplug. They want to see if they can do it. And we go through a pretty... Take
their SIM card. They won't have a choice.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And so there's a screening process, if you will. It's pretty low key, but at the same time, I want to make sure that everybody's going to be able to kind of jive.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't want one guest, so to speak, making it difficult for everybody else.
Exactly.
And you have to spend a lot of time with that guest, and then ultimately you have to bury him in the desert, which nobody likes.
Yeah, I know. We've only had to do that a few times. And we shortened the total mileage so that we, because 2 weeks.
Oh, that's a long time.
That's a long time. It's a lot of investment for people to take away from their lives too. So, which the trips are usually about 10 days. And we do 7 on the road and then 3 days typically at some sort of event.
Well, that's a good amount of time to really get immersed into the adventure. Yeah. It's not like a weekend or a 3-day thing. You really have to
put miles on. That first one that we did where people kind of came in. We started at in Butler, PA, at the Bantam Jeep Heritage Festival, and we had our own encampment, so the show goers could come check out our rigs.
Great idea.
We went on and then we could last minute fixes before we go down the road, and then we would we do the big loop, and then we ended back at in Butler, and then we kind of took off. But for that event, we did 2 things differently. One was we hired a camp chef.
Nice.
So we would cook breakfasts and dinners.
Army travels on its stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we allowed them to have a Gladiator because we wanted them to be able to, we couldn't wait for food.
Yeah, we want the food to be good, not angry.
Yeah,
we don't want angry food.
So we did that, and then we also had a truck and trailer that would follow around. Again, people are making an investment. We don't want them 700 miles away from the start with no plan.
Right.
And so we first year, well, we did use it. And then the second one was our moonshine run. We started in Butler, same place, but we went south and kind of through Appalachia. And we had a truck and trailer there. But then on our most recent one for the mitten race, which was the perimeter of the, well, we did go over the bridge, but basically we were staying under the bridge of the mitten. And we had a lot of friends and a lot of good people around there that kind of stationed that we knew that we could reach out to if there was an emergency. So we decided to kind of pull back from having the truck and trailer this time, but still did the Camp Chef, which actually was me this year. Our typical Camp Chef was, he could not make it because of he had a lot going on and conflict in schedule. So
was this a legitimate chef or just somebody that said they could cook?
Oh no, Frizz he's as legit as it gets. Yeah, he's phenomenal, especially with camp meals. He's a camp cookie, and he learned a lot from Bob Lievenhagen, who is also, if you're not familiar with For Exploring, Bob does some pretty awesome events where he'll take you to the ends of the earth and feed you real well while doing it. So I've been blessed to be able to be on a few of his trips as well, which is where I got some of my cooking prowess, and I just like to cook food. So yeah, it worked out for me that I got to be the shoe-in.
So it sounds like it's a really, really fun event, especially if there's good eats, because, you can put up with a lot if there's going to be a good meal coming up. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing I'm curious about is I know the Michigan event here in the intro says it was in June. Is this always happening in June? Is it hot? Is it sunny whenever you do these things?
Well, it's a lot of times it's hot. It's sunny. Well, the first one was in March. The second one, I think, was in August on the Continental Divide because we wanted it warm. But we were battling all kinds of weather on that one. Oregon was in the summer, and it was brutally hot, 120 degrees going across Nebraska. Mm-hmm. That was nuts.
Now, do you have any covers on the Willys, on the Willises?
Like,
is that
so mine's a truck. Mine's a Willys truck. Uh-huh. A lot of the guys have.
And you're making fun of me and the Cherokee. I just want to point that out.
Oh, you can ride with me, and you can tell me if they're the same. But a lot of the guys have flat fenders too that don't have cabs. Some of the guys have flat fenders that have the half cabs. Everybody has a little bit of something. The cool thing about the event too is we're not looking for fully restored, incredibly pristine rigs.
Right. That's good. I like that.
It's
more people can be involved that way.
Well, it is affordable. We don't care what kind of fix it is, as long as you have a fix and you're not just stuck on the side of the road going, "Somebody fix it for me." Now, granted, I get it. Sometimes you might be better at one thing than another, and that's where a little bit of bartering and trading can happen. But I like to see somebody take something that was forgotten about. It's been under a tree forever. Now you give it a new lease on life. That old machine thought it was done for.
Exactly.
And now it's doing the coolest thing it's ever done.
Yeah,
so
it's a great idea. Have you, I would assume that you've never lost a Jeep where it caught on fire or had to be abandoned or anything tragic like that.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, gee.
So, Continental Divide trip. This is a funny story. So we had them trailered all the way out to Montana and to Whitefish. And then the crew all met at my shop, took a bus up to the train station, and then we took a train from St. Paul, Minnesota, out to Whitefish, Montana. And that's kind of how we started the trip. Everybody got to have some cocktails on the train and bond and, have a good time. We get there, good night's sleep, get up the next morning. We're going to go through Glacier National Park, touch the Canadian border quick, and then start heading south. And as we were going north, we drove by a family of grizzly bears. And right by a campground. We said, man, I'm sure glad that we're not staying at this campground. Ha 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 ha. And we get up to the border, which was only 15 miles up there. And one of the guys says, hey, could you listen to this? And I hop in his Jeep and I listen to it. It was a 3B high hood. I said, oh, your motor's drunk. That's what that is. And it was a freshly rebuilt engine. And so we drag it on a tow rope back down to the campground that we thought that we wouldn't stay at with the bears. Circle the wagons, do a little diag. At this point, it was shakedown for a lot of people. Some people were overheating. Some people had oil leaks to beat the band. Everybody was just kind of huddled around their own rigs. And then they were, we started to dig into that one motor, and sure enough, we found pulled oil pan, crank bearings were bad.
Damn.
So, got it, kind of flopped back over into Whitefish, found a guy, left that person and his Jeep on that. The guy owned a machine shop, Rob Thompson, I believe was his name. Rob, if I screwed that up, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't, thanks again. But he owned a machine shop, and it was a Jeep nut.
Oh,
so
perfect.
we got the Jeep to his shop. I said, Cody, they found some bearings. They were going to be a couple of days out. And he's like, I'll just catch up. I was like, all right, bud. Well, best of luck to you. And I think that night, he went out for Margarita Tuesday with Bob and ended up sleeping on his couch for a couple of days. They got it. And then we were in Rangeley, Colorado. We had made the trip further down. All of a sudden we woke up one morning at 6 o'clock. This is when we were responsible for our own meals. So people were stuffing their faces with whatever, but drinking lots of coffee. And all of a sudden this truck and trailer shows up. Well, Bob, they put it back together. It still didn't run perfect, but Bob didn't feel comfortable leaving Cody to his own devices. So he's like, I'll haul you down to catch you up with your crew, which was like a 12-hour drive.
Right.
And then to just turn around and go home. And Cody unloads the Jeep and he's ready for lineup at 9 o'clock or whenever we take off. And we head it into Meeker, Colorado. And the stretch from Rangeley to Meeker, I don't know, it's probably 70 miles. And I was in the lead. And then all of a sudden I hear something, and I look over my shoulder, and Cody is flying down, passing everybody. That thing was running like a raped ape. And as he passes my Jeep and he cuts back over in front of me, I look out his tailpipe at debris coming out of his tailpipe.
No.
And I was like, it looked like a spring. I had no idea. We're going whatever, 35 miles an hour. No. And yep, he gets out of sight. You can hear it. Ba 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 ba. Pulls over the side of the road, and by the time we all catch up to him, he's just got his duffel bag out of it, and he throws it in the back of Adam's Jeep and sits on the back of Adam's Jeep, and we leave it. We get into Meeker to a gas station. He goes up to a guy with a truck and trailer and says, "Hey, what would it cost me to have you go pick up a Jeep?" "What do you mean?" "Well, it's back there on the highway." And the guy went and picked it up, brought it to his yard, and it sat in his yard for 3 months until we got done with the trip. Cody got home and was able to get a truck and trailer and go back out there. So yeah, we've had some catastrophic engine failures that resulted in abandonment.
So I don't know if how much detail you had on it. Was the bearing not sized properly for the crank? Was the crank not turned, or do you know why? It just seems like a strange deal for a freshly rebuilt engine to have a main bearing issue. If it was the main bearing, that's the way I heard it. Hey Jeepers, it's Tony here from the Jeep Talk Show. We're not like everyone else, and neither are our rides. While they're worried about parking lot dings, we're out there earning battle scars. But your windshield, that deserves better than becoming another casualty. Windshield Defense by Racing Optics is built for people like us, the ones who see a road closed sign as a suggestion. Triple layer, race tested, and tougher than a $2 steak. Give me the ketchup, please. Installs in just under 30 minutes because we know patience isn't your strong suit. Got chips or scratches from your latest adventure? Just peel off the top layer and you're good to go. It's like having a reset button for your windshield, and we all know how much we love a good do-over. Made in the USA for over 25 years, just like the spirit that drives us. Save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. Free shipping anywhere in the U.S. Stay different, stay protected. Windshield Defense, the clear choice. This episode of Jeep Talk Show is brought to you by G-Tops. Now you can get 25% off. In the beginning, the idea of G-Tops was simply to let the light into your Jeep. Many Jeepers take their tops off. Freedom Tops make this easy and easy to store. What if you could let the light in every time you drive your Jeep? Rain, snow, sunny, it doesn't matter. That's G-Tops, letting you enjoy the outside simply and easily. Use the code 25OFF at checkout. G-Tops that were over $1,200 are now less than $1,000. Your price may vary. Contact xjtalk.com at 414-350-6006 right now.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's not important. I'm just curious. It just seems strange, especially the bottom end going like that.
Well,
unless there was debris missing, inside all the bearings and stuff.
Yeah, so a thing about these engines too, like we get them magnafluxed and there's cracks and we're pinning stuff. Some of it, it's just like this was before you could buy those brand new blocks easily.
I was just going to ask you about that, if there was full replacements.
No, so you're just like, I don't know, like, well,
let's take a shot at it. Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah. Are you block seal? We'll try it. Yeah. And I think we've had a few other, we call them code reds, where especially when we would have the trailer that they just cannot go on, cannot be fixed, cannot be repaired. Well, Adam's Jeep on that first trip, we did that engine swap in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And with the new motor, we fired it up and there was a massive knock. Adam threw his hands up, said, nope, I'm jumping in with Tyler. Well, what ended up happening on that one, and he didn't find out until, again, many weeks after, goes down, he picks that back up, and he fired it back up again and had that same knock, and by the time he got to the end of the driveway, it's quieted right up. Well, the fire ring on the head gasket was not the right size. It was stamped wrong or something, and so the piston was hitting it. Well,
it clearanced itself.
It did, yeah. And I think that he ran that for a hot minute with no issues.
Yeah.
So it likely would have been fine, but you don't know in the moment.
No, and I don't know that you'd want to risk it. I mean, if you're really adventurous, sure. So, damn. And of course, that's part of the thing here. If you have an 80-year-old Jeep, 60-year-old Jeep, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you were right with the 80.
Yeah, could be. I can't do math. They told me there'd be no math in doing podcasts. So let me ask you this. So are you having another one, or have you just had one? I mean, are you having another one this year?
So the one that we just got done in the mitten race, that got done.
That's right. 2025. This is right here. Okay.
So we did that a little bit differently too. Instead of starting at the Jeep Heritage Festival, we ended on it, which was kind of cool because then we were fresh off the road with tons of stories. Yeah. And able to share with lots of people. And so that was exciting. It was a change up. And I think, like I said, next year, we'll be changing our arrival and departure places a little bit. Just cause we've kind of we've gone all the places we can go from Western PA. Mm-hmm. So, but it was really cool. We were also able to tour the Jeep facility in Toledo. They opened it up to us.
Not everybody gets to do that. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. And they made that very, very clear that this is not a thing. So we felt pretty honored to see the inner workings of everything. And Dana also, we got to tour the Dana plant. I actually was helping a guy fix a Jeep so I wasn't able to do the Dana event, but the guys were really impressed with that.
I bet you hated that. The Dana's another great place. I mean, Dana's been in Jeep since the vehicles that you're driving. So that's just amazing. So if people want to follow along, or maybe they want to get involved in this with the Facebook group, I'm assuming it's a group or a page, Epic Willys Adventure. Is that where they should go? Just do a search on Facebook for that.
Yep. You can EWA, Epic Willys Adventure. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. We've got a YouTube as well with a lot of, we've done some mini docs ourselves. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're pretty darn good.
Right.
And you can really get a flavor for what we're doing when we're out making all this racket, all these old Jeeps.
So what are the requirements? I mean, I'm assuming an old Jeep, but it's not like a 70s CJ or anything like that.
So Willis, Willis Overland, once those kind of stopped, I think it was 63 is our cap. I say 40s and 50s, and it really can be, we've had FCs, we've had wagons, we've had trucks, we've had flatties. The parts are interchangeable. Kind of that's the era we're looking for. Once you get beyond that, we're also trying to, it's kind of like a stock car thing. We're trying to keep everybody going the same speeds,
right.
But it is fun to kind of see the healthy competition between whose Jeep with an overdrive can go faster than another. I think top speed this year was 74 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Time warp for one of the Army people from back then.
Oh yeah. I can't, I go 52, and I think I've had Amos up to almost 60. That's the name of my truck. Amos has his own Instagram page too, so you can look him up. Amos Federowski.
Is 52 fast enough to blow the hair back if you take your hat off?
Oh yeah. It actually grows and blows all at the same time.
It's that additional oxygen. That's really cool. I think, have you had an FC go out there? Because I think having like an FC 150 or something going on the trip would be really cool.
Yeah, we had one actually this year. Kaiser Willys sponsored Tom, and he was from Massachusetts, and beautiful FC. Even ugly ducklings.
It's a Jeep. No, come on. We all know all Jeeps are ugly. It's like a mother's love. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But and we also had one on our Oregon Trail route. Veronica, she was 170 with a custom flatbed, and that thing was destined for the crusher for sure, and got kind of built just good enough. That one, the driver didn't have enough space in the foot box. He's a big dude. He didn't have space in the foot box for a gas pedal, a brake pedal, and a clutch. So he got an old Evinrude column throttle from an old boat and put that right on the trans tunnel, and that was his throttle.
Yeah.
So that was Veronica. She was very unique. And then
so Veronica was the name of the vehicle? Is that?
Yeah, they all got names.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And if they don't have one to start, they get one by the end.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So that's fun too. And I think on our second one, we had a beautiful FC, Will Morgan's FC, which he made it to just by Yellowstone and had to bail. He had an issue too. And then he limped it home to
how many people or how many Jeeps get involved in these things? I'm sure it varies, but about how many Jeeps are involved in these these things?
We'll cap it at 15. Usually it's 10.
That's a good sized group.
Yeah. Yeah. But typically 10 is kind of like the sweet spot that we settle into. We'll open up applications and we'll admit 15, but we know that a few people usually drop out.
Right.
Because I think I was cooking food for 24 people.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but that's 15 Jeeps, but 24 people. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can bring somebody with you if you want.
Yeah, we encourage a co-driver, a navigator, because again, you don't know where to go.
Right.
Here's your map. Here's your start. Here's your end. Get there.
So I would assume, and maybe this is wrong, but I would assume that most of this adventure is highway or road, not off-road, with the possible exception of EJS. I'm sure at EJS, you had to take them off road.
Oh yeah, we definitely did that. And there's been some off-roading, but for the most part, it's all 2-lane. And then beyond that, like, yeah, there's guys that find the 2-track through a county forest, and stuff like that. But it's funny too, because a lot of times, spectators are like, "Oh, it's cheap, so you don't do any off-roading." Like even at Bantam,
we're just happy to be here.
Yeah, it is such a feat, and it is, again, if you've ever spent 12 hours on a trail out in Moab, and when you're done with it, like, all you want to do is put your feet up and have a few cold beers.
Yeah,
it's just as exhausting to do this event and then get done with it, and you're overload on sensory stimulation. You just want to stare at a tree and not talk to anybody for a little bit, and then maybe I'll come around the fire and have those beers.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. So do you ever have like a videographer or somebody to take stills? I mean, that's their job? Because I mean, this is gold. I mean, but it's so difficult to do when you're involved in the process.
Yes. So we've brought some production guys on in the past, and that's where you'll see a lot of our footage on social media. We've always tried to have somebody dedicated to capture content. This year it was a little bit more sparse on that. We still got a ton of content, and we encouraged the teams with that co-driver having that phenomenal capture device to break down, and even if they seem a little frustrated, like, still stick the camera in their face.
Right.
Like, let's get the story, let's get what's going on, and then we can kind of patch it together. And that's fantastic. Really,
really cool. All right. I'm sure we're skipping a lot of stuff on these adventures, but I do want to talk to you about Max-Bilt, your business, and especially about how it got started in the kitchen. How do you start and I think I'm correct here. You guys do have services where you work on all kinds of vehicles. How did that start in your kitchen?
All right. So that was a little bit of a hook. But so my house, it had started in a 1-bedroom house. Well, I guess, to be completely honest, I was staying when Heather was my girlfriend, I was living in the basement of her brother's house with her, and I was designing products in their kitchen. So I guess technically that's how that started.
So let me ask you really quick before you go further with this. Staying in her brother's basement, was this a situation where her brother forced you to get married to her?
No, it was just I was an opportunist at the time, and
this is right close.
I ended up staying there more often than I did at my own place. Let's just put it that way.
Gotcha.
And so when her and I did choose a place to live, it was a 1-bedroom home with the garage underneath the living space.
Oh, nice.
And so she loved the property. I loved the opportunity for a garage and something to be able to build something from. And so that's where I was going to school full time. So I was, and I had an incubation lab at the university where I could work on the manufacturing business. So I'd work there all day, and then all night I would work on whatever Jeeps were on my docket to kind of fix. And then we did general repair. I did anything I could to be able to put some cash in my pocket to kind of fund this Jeep dream. And
where did you get your customers from? Was it friends and word of mouth type thing?
I also worked part-time at Napa. So I was the night and weekend guy. So I would hustle a little bit of my side gig to people that I would meet through there, share it with different shops that, hey, if you ever have this is kind of what I'm doing. So the idea was, I had a great idea for a product. Our first product was actually a center console, because the old Jeeps didn't have a good spot to lock up your wares.
No cup holders.
What's that?
No cup holders.
Exactly. Yeah. And CD players are always getting wrecked by rain.
Yep.
So we made a nice little command center console, we called it, with lighting and cup holders and a spot to charge your cell phone. Just some modern amenities. You could bolt it in and go. Well, that was because ultimately I wanted to do custom builds for people, but nobody was going to give a 19-year-old their money to do whatever they want with. So if we could develop some products, get some notoriety on a national level, by going to different events. Well, the gas money was paid by brake jobs and fuel pump replacements on anything. And so that was kind of the snowball effect. And then my at that point, wife was pregnant with our son Jackson. And it was like 3 a.m. I'm welding on stuff in the Jeep and it's wafting up through the floors. And she comes walking downstairs. She says, "Nope, no more. You got to find a place to do this." So I was like, "Yeah, it's about time." And so I rented a place just up the road. And then we converted that old garage into our kitchen, our living space. And so now the house looks complete transformation from how we started. So it's just kind of
but you can still have the memories of all the work that you did in the kitchen and stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah. I remember, washing dishes at night or cooking food in there. It's like, man, I remember setting up Mike King's 44s, Scout 44s we put into his scrambler right here, not knowing anything that I was doing. Mm-hmm. And, here now we're the premier axle and gear shop in, Western Wisconsin.
So, but I would imagine, I know it's nice being in a place that, especially because it's a progression, that a success benchmark, but being just right there at your house and being able to go back and forth, interact with the family and stuff has to be good. And think of all the 4-letter words your kid learns when you're working on the Jeep.
Yeah, they're no stranger to that. That's for sure.
And you could teach him how to steal, or your wife could teach him how to steal 10mm sockets. So you were a one-man operation until you rented the place. I'm assuming you're not still a one-man operation.
No, we moved to that shop just close to my house. And I brought in a part-time kid and, I think I brought in some college students to help out put consoles together. And then that lasted a year, and the shop owner that I was renting from was like, "All right, you got to find your own place." We're a little bit rowdy bunch sometimes, and we're working all hours, and it's a mess. And, my ADD brain just trying to do the next thing. What's the next cool thing? What's the next cool thing? And I love that chaos, but not everybody does. So happened to find a spot not too far, about 20-minute drive from the house, where it was a great opportunity to start the shop. And so, or I guess restart the shop with plenty of expansion opportunities. And so bought that in 2012. 2015, we put a 2,500 square foot addition up because we were expanding. And then 2019, we remodeled our office space into more offices to account for more people. And then in 2022, we did a 7,500 square foot addition on the shop to be able to kind of have all revenue streams of ours kind of covered. So like we still manufacture product and ship that all over. We now do a lot more general repair in that first edition. As well as, our in and out Jeep stuff. And then our big shop is for our long-term builds. So our crazy custom stuff, we're up to 11 employees right now. And we're down a few, but we keep it around that,
Right. So let me ask you this. Now, you started off by working on all the things yourself, and it's definitely different when you're interacting with the machine and you're doing things to it, and you're doing it on your time, or maybe the customer needs a certain thing, and you can do all that stuff. But when you start bringing in employees, it's totally different. It's a completely different dynamic for most people. How was it for you?
It was, so I pride myself on building a culture. And that's shown through in the clients that we had and the events that we went to. But I also wanted everybody that was here to be able to just enjoy what they're doing and not necessarily feel like a job. So I basically looked at it as if I was, because for a long time it was 80, 90 hours a week. So if I what job description would I be able to peel off of myself and hand to somebody else? What do I need most of? Mm-hmm. And, I thankfully, everybody here we're all great friends. You know, Adam's my best friend. He runs the shop now. I brought him in I think 2015. We never really remember because
right.
he was by my side in 2000.
I was going to say they're just there all the time anyways. Like, hey, you should work here. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And which is great because we also we have a great dynamic and we can leave things at work. And then,
that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. But it took a long time. I think I struggled with that more than, I don't know everybody else's struggle, but I do know that was a big struggle for me to be able to leave things at work.
Well, you're worried about it all the time. You got to make payroll. There's people depending on you and your decisions that you make. So, I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to start my own business. This would be great. And they don't really think about what happens when they're in the middle of it. Managing people can be very difficult.
It is difficult.
And it's not always the manager's fault.
Right. Well, and sometimes, and we're going through some tough times right now. Like the waxing and waning never stops.
Right.
And so it's, either it builds and it builds and it builds, or it goes like, how far can you take it?
Right. And you never know when to spend money, or I imagine doing the expansion was a hard decision because that's going to be a huge cash outlay.
It was, it definitely changed the way everything is. And, we were slated, we had a lot of builds, and we just kept getting phone calls.
That's great. That's wonderful to hear.
Well, and then, it was almost like a hangover from COVID. A lot of those calls stopped. So we have to pivot and figure things out. And what's the next step? How are we going to, it didn't necessarily work into the plan exactly how we wanted, but that's life. I mean, that's
it's like going on these adventures that you go on. You go on them, and then when there's an issue, you work through it, and then you continue on. It's the exact same thing. So it's just another challenge.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, man. Like I warned you at the top of the before we started recording, I like to say the kids love the social media. They love looking at the pictures. I'm one of them. I like looking at pictures too. It's back at the kindergarten for me. Where can people find you, Max-Bilt, etc.? The Epic Willys Adventure. Where can they find you online? So
we are Max-Bilt on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We got a website, Max-Bilt Off-Road. You can Google it. You can get all those there. Now everything points to everything else. And then Epic Willys Adventure, of course, as well as Facebook, Instagram. Don't believe we've got a TikTok. Oh, we do have a TikTok. Don't push it as much. And then a YouTube as well. So you can spend plenty of time. Reach out to me anytime. You can find me. I'm Mr. Max-Bilt on Instagram or Phil Norville on Facebook. I love to chat about adventures, Jeep stuff, or anything. So small business questions. Yeah, I hear you. Very interesting life you're leading there, Phil. And we'll have to have you back and talk more about the adventure. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a Starlink. So the next time you're out on one of the adventures, we can do a live video feed for the show. I love it. All right, man. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for being with us. Take it easy. Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.